Okay, we're good. All right, class, welcome. Today, we're gonna go over scansion. And we have a Nearpod set up, so let's share my screen, but you can be in the Nearpod. So, you guys should be able to leave comments. And the first question I just want us to start with the subject is, how do readers make stories more engaging for audiences? We have relatable characters, and that's great. But I want us to think more on the performance side of things. Like if you're listening to a teacher or someone within a play or anyone just reading something to you, how do they make things more engaging for your ears? I think probably tone of voice, that's very important. And that's very tied to scansion. Inflections on various words, yes, this is great. So thank you for these answers. Give it a little bit more time. You can also think about, how do just authors make it more engaging for readers, but still on the performance side. Right, we can move on now. Facial expression, yes. And scansion helps. Scansion does actually affect your facial expressions. I never thought about it that way, but thank you for that answer. So let's move on to the next one. I don't. So this is scansion. So if you ever wondered where readers find charisma and enthusiasm within their speech, it comes from scansion. And scansion is a way in which we organize strong and weak inflections in poetry. So you guys are already talking about that tone of voice, inflections of various words. The language we would use to talk about these things are strong and weak, um, or stresses and unstresses. So those are the first two important vocabulary terms you need to understand: unstressed and stressed, referring to syllables. So in case we don't know, a syllable is, let's say, scansion. Scansion has two syllables, scan, shun. Um, and an unstressed syllable is a part of the word that is a little bit quieter, and the stressed syllable is more prominent, like scansion. Um, Another vocabulary term that's very important to know is caesura. And a caesura is a pause within verse. So words like unstressed syllables, stressed syllables, caesuras, these things are really important in verse craft and medieval poetry. And then we have iams. So an iam is just what we call an unstressed syllable and a stressed syllable. So if we look at our sonnet 18, this is a Shakespeare sonnet. We have shall I, so shall is unstressed. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Because it's unstressed, stressed. That is an iam. It always begins with unstressed and then stressed, and it ends in stress. Why pentameter? Because it's five. It just means there's five of these doubles. So you can count one, two, three, four, five reds within a sentence. Not a scansion. And more specifically on stress and unstressed. So we're going to move on to caesura. We got our unstressed stress. We're gonna move on to a caesura. So caesura is a pause within a part of verse craft, a part of a poem. So we're gonna listen to a performance of a Shakespeare Hamlet. We're gonna listen to this guy, and we have the the script on the side so we can follow. We can see where he pauses and where the caesuras are prominent. Tell me if it plays at the same time as you guys. Good on sound? No sound.
No, I'm not getting any sounds.
Are you guys able to watch it in your own Nearpod? Okay. Well, I'd recommend watch 40 seconds of it, just 40 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds, and follow along with the script. And then you'll be able to see where the swords are present. Normally it comes with the commas. Time is going quick. Time is going quick. But I hope the message was conveyed there, that the performer takes these pauses, caesuras, and along with unstressed and stressed syllables, this iambic pentameter, in order to create a more engaging experience for the audience. So here we have Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. um, do you guys see this on your Nearpod? So you should be able to draw on it. And so what I want you guys to do is on an unstressed syllable, write an X. And on a stressed syllable, draw just a slash. And if you want bonus points, then you can add in caesuras. And caesura is defined by like just two lines, like two parallel lines next to each other. That was a skateboard. See, can see Michael's work. And I know we went over iambic pentameter, which usually says that it is unstressed and stressed, but that's how Shakespeare wrote. This is not Shakespeare. So I trust your performance of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Where would you stress it? And that determines, your scansion of this, and also, how you perform for other people. I don't see how to share each of your works with each other, but I can see it, and you guys are doing good. You guys are doing good. I notice that most of you are going stress unstressed. So you think that the twing of the twinkle is stress, and the kull, the second part of the syllable, is unstressed. It's weird thinking that like certain parts of literature can be subjective, but in the world of performance, everything is subjective. We choose the way we want to interact with the piece, and even if it's written in one way, someone down the line, years ahead, like in Hamlet, someone can perform it completely different from how it was intended. So lastly, we have an exit slip, and it's just testing your knowledge of, do you know with a unstressed and stressed syllable is, are familiar with iambic pentameter, and can you define where a caesura is within versecraft? So it's a Google form. But as you're working on that, or you want to wait until you finish, or before you even start, if you have any questions, anything that isn't clear about stressing and unstressing syllables, being able to scan it yourself, putting the X and the slash, put it in the chat or unmute yourself. sure. Whenever you guys finish, just give me a thumbs up. Cool. Well, class is over.